Welcome to class. In this class, we're going to be looking at how to draft the basic bodice, having gotten all our measurements from the previous video on how to take body measurements. Please, if you've not watched it, kindly do well to do so. Now we're marking from shoulder to waistline. This is a half scale bodice. From shoulder to waistline, we'll have 17 inches. Then from shoulder, we're going to be marking our under bust. Now this under bust is optional. It's not going to be functional in this basic bodice, but since we're going to be using it for alteration, we decided to mark it. Then from shoulder, we're going to mark our bust point, which is 10.5. Okay, so you do well to mark all these measurements, and then I'm going to be ruling it across. I will use my marker later on to highlight it properly so that you can see it very well. Remember, from the shoulder you measure to your waistline for the front, to the bust line. The under bust is optional. Okay, I hope this is understood. So I'm just highlighting so that we all can see it properly. Now we'll continue the measurement. From the shoulder line, we're going to mark our neck depth, which is 3 inches, and also the neck width, which is 3 inches. For a basic bodice, we usually use 3 by 3 for an average adult. It's a standard measurement. Okay, this is for the neckline. Now on that same shoulder line, I'm going to be marking the shoulder, back shoulder divide by 2, which is 7.5, and then there I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches, and this is how you're going to slant it to the neck point to get your shoulder slant. Okay, now from the bust line, I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches to get the armhole depth. From the bust line, come up by 1.5 inches to get the armhole depth. Right? Now from the center front, I'm going to mark the shoulder again so that I will get a straight line. That point is called the center front, which is the beginning. Now at the armhole, I will go up by 3 inches and go in by 0.5. I use 0.5. Normally it should be 0.75. And then I will mark my first divide by 4. Now at the armhole, I went in by 0.5. Normally it should be 0.75 because I'm going to be altering this into the bust here. Then I'm going to connect this way, and our armhole is done. Now the proper bust line, I'm still going to mark bust divide by 4, which is going to be on the same line. Then from the CF also at the bust line, I'm going to mark my bust span, nipple to nipple measurement. I'll also mark it on the waistline to get a straight line to the bust line, to the bust point. Okay, so on this pattern, I'm going to mark my waistline divide by 4 plus 1 inch for that intake on the waistline. Waist divide by 4. The waist we're using is 30, divide by 4 plus 1 inch, and I'm going to connect it to the bust divide by 4. Now on the waistline, I'm marking half inch on both sides, which is going to form the dart intake. Remember, we added 1 inch for this dart, and that is what we are trying to take out. So we connect it to the bust point, and then we'll close up this line, which is also on the straight line. And the next thing is to take our bust dart for the front, so 1 inch from the dart from the bust line. We'll connect it this way, 1 inch from the bust line, and our draft for the front is done. Very simple. Okay, so we'll go over to the back. Now at the back we also have our shoulder line, and then we measure from there to the waistline, which is 16. Remember that the front length and the back length are not the same, so the back here is 16 inches while the front is 17 inches. Now from there, we're going to, after marking, we're going to rule a straight line. We do not have so much lines at the back. We only have the waistline and the armhole line. Okay, we don't even have the bust line. Now from there, I'm going to mark 1 inch for neck depth and 3 inches for neck width, the same as the front. The shoulder line is the same, 7.5 inches. Whatever it is you marked at the front, that is what you're going to mark at the back. Now for the shoulder drop down, please do not mark it at this point. We're going to mark it at the tip of the shoulder. Okay, after connecting the neckline 1 inch depth to the 3 inches this way, this is for the neckline. Okay, now from there we'll measure our shoulder, 7.5. Pardon the mistake, 7.5. At that point, that is where we're going to go down by 1 inch. Remember, at the front we went down by 1.5 inches. At the back we're going down by 1 inch. Okay, this way, and we'll connect to the neck point. All right, now the armhole depth for the back and the front are just going to be on the same line, and that's why I need to remeasure it so that I'll connect the lines together. We should be having about 9 inches from the shoulder line, and I'm going to connect them on a straight line. Okay, so like I said before, we do not have so much lines at the back. The lines are quite few and easy to follow. Now the next thing we're going to be marking is on the waistline. We want to tighten the back so that when you fix um your zipper, it's not going to bulge. So at the waistline, I will go in by 0.75 and I'll connect it towards the neckline, but not cutting into the neck measurement. Okay, yeah, it runs off to nothing towards the neckline. So from that ruling now, that is where my measurement is going to start. Measurement of 30 inches and then an extra 1 inch for that intake. I hope this is clear. Our measurement begins from the 0.75 that we went in. Now for the armhole line, we're going to mark our bust, also starting from the new line that we've marked for the bust, divide by 4. Now we're not going to be adding extra 1 inch to it because we are not taking away any dart from the bust line. Okay, and I'll connect it this way. Now the next line we're going to mark is the shoulder line so that we'll get a straight line, and this line starts from the edge of the paper, no longer the line that we marked. From the edge of the paper, that's where it's going to start, and we connect it on a straight line to the armhole line, to the shoulder line. So we've already marked the bust divide by 4, and we're going to divide this armhole into 2 to get the midpoint. Unlike the front that we use 3 inches, we're getting the midpoint here, and we go in by 0.5 as well. Remember I said we went in by 0.5 for the front because I want to alter that particular pattern to get our bust here. So I'll connect it this way to the shoulders, and this is it. Now the next thing left is our that intake for the waistline. Okay, you can use your bust span divide by 2 to get the midpoint where you're going to be inserting that ½ inch on both lines. 4 inches from the edge of the paper, that is what I marked. 4 inches from the edge of the paper and ½ inch on both sides of the mark to get that intake of 1 inch. And the last, our pattern is ready, very ready. You can agree with me that this is a very simple, straightforward pattern. and believe me, it fits like glove when you use it to make whatever you want to make. This is just the basic pattern. When you want to, you can sew it, cut like this and sew, but when you want to make something more fitted, it needs more alteration, and that's why we have the underbust there. Okay, hope you enjoyed this class. If you've not watched the measurement class, please do well to watch it. The link is in the description. Thank you.